I told him, I'm like, we can't pass up. This gecko is that highlighted color that you're looking for. It has the thick banding. You don't really see that here in the US.
In the US.
You might see it in Korea, China, or I don't know if Europe has a blotching like that, but you see them more overseas.
It's the Garg Life where the hobby comes alive. Good people, great geckos, and a passion that survives. So kick back, tune in, and stay for a while. You're living the Garg Life.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is a new episode. We have not one, but two absolutely amazing guests. I've been trying to get these two on for, a good year now, gentlemen?
It's been a minute, yeah.
So we have Matthew, who is Mr. Gargoyles, and we have Ricardo, who is RR Gargoyles. If you haven't heard their names in the Gargoyle game, I don't know where you've been. They are throwing out some of the best geckos in the hobby right now, and we are going to break it down, get to know them a little bit, and get to know a little bit of how they make the magic happen. So I want to kick it over first to Matthew. Welcome. Matthew, can you tell me a little bit about how you got into gargoyle geckos? And then we'll throw Ricardo in there because I know that you got him into it. I don't know how happy yet, but then we'll hear Ricardo's story. But let's start with Mr. Gargoyles. How did Mr. Gargoyles come to be? And what got you into reptiles and gargoyles specifically?
Man, it's a pretty long story. So pretty much when I want to say probably like around 6 to 8 years old, my dad at the time, he yeah, he pretty much took me to Petco, and I seen those little Chinese water dragons. I'm like, dang, don't those things look cool. I'm like, I want one. I ended up leaving with 4.
Chinese water dragons?
Yeah, and back in the day, that was before YouTube was a thing. YouTube was mainly used for like music. I was a kid. I didn't really know too much about, the care of reptiles. The associates at Petco told me that I could get one 40-gallon tank, one water pond, some dirt, and one hive, and they'll thrive.
That was some solid advice there. Wow. Way to get you started.
That thrived, quote unquote thrived, I want to say for probably like a month. And, it sucks, but that's kind of how I got into it. And, they unfortunately passed a month later because of the care that they were in. I had no way of looking it up. My mom hated reptiles. She didn't want anything to do with them. But that's pretty much what got me into them. And as I got older, I started seeing chameleons, and I was like, "Oh, I really like chameleons." And when I first started looking into them, I seen the veiled chameleons. I'm like, "Do they change color? If I put them on something brown, are they going to turn brown? If I put them on something blue, are they going to turn blue?" And after me researching, I come to find out that's a complete lie.
Yep, they're not cartoons.
Yeah, they're not cartoons. So pretty much, I started researching, going around, looking up more into chameleons, and I came into panther chameleon, and I kind of fell in love with the blue ones. I forgot what they're called. I forgot what the morph is called, but it's the baby blue ones. I got one of those, and I also got a female. This is kind of where my breeding came in. And for the people that have bred chameleons ever, they know that a chameleon per clutch could lay anywhere from 18 to, I believe, 40 eggs per clutch. They have 3 of them per year. And usually, and I was around, I want to say I barely turned 17 at the time. I barely started driving.
So this was about 10 years later from your first experience.
Yeah.
You kind of got the bug, but it didn't deter you enough. Okay.
Yeah. And then, people know about like 50 of the eggs, they hatch, they go through. And when they do hatch, most of them, they don't even make it. I, on the other end, had 100% fertility rate. Every single one of them hatched. And as you know, with chameleons, they're solitary animals. So you have to keep them in their own cage. I had a room. My room's not too big. So I want to say after they hatched, I had all 3 clutches after they hatched, I probably had sitting anywhere from like 50 to 80 chameleons, babies. And they started getting to the age where they're nipping on each other, and I was freaking out. I'm like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? I started going around to every reptile store going, you guys want to buy 5 for 200, 10 for 400? Just take them off of me, please. I'm running out of space.
So
And
Ricardo bought them all, right?
No, I didn't know him at the time.
Yeah, I didn't even know Ricardo at the time, but yeah, that's kind of how I got into breeding, was chameleons, and I kind of had a nightmare situation with that because I was trying to offload chameleons because there was too many of them. They were already biting each other, this and that. So I was going around to every pet shop local within a 40-mile distance, just trying to sell, calling ahead. Hey, I could wholesale you chameleons. You guys want to take them? Because not too many people were buying them off of Craigslist at the time. And I didn't know about Morph Market. I don't know if Morph Market existed around that time.
What year was this? How far back?
I want to say around 2017, 2016.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I want to say around there. Yeah. And
yeah, I don't even know. I'll be honest with you. I don't even know when Morph Market started. I know it already existed when I got in the hobby.
Same year. And yeah, so that's kind of like got my mind thinking, because I sold them. I had extra cash laying around, and you know, my male chameleon ended up passing away of old age because I had already bought him when he was probably like 3 years old, and I ended up selling the female. And my brother, he goes, "Hey, I found these geckos. It's a crested gecko. Let's go get some." He seen a listing on Craigslist, and it was from a breeder. I don't know if many people remember her. Her name's Kim Calhoun. I forgot her. I forgot her business name. Kim the Gecko Geek.
Okay.
Yeah, Kim the Gecko Geek. She's the one that got me into all the geckos. And my brother, he showed me the crested gecko. I was like, okay, I'll take you to go get it. We met up in Burbank with her. He got the crested gecko. I was like, it's not really my thing. I don't really find too much interest in a crested gecko, right? And he goes, hey, she sent me a picture of something called a gargoyle gecko. I'm like, let me see it. And at the time, if people want to go back and look at my old Instagram, you guys could see, I believe it's RB Reptiles. You could see the gargoyle geckos that I had at the time. They were like $500 geckos, had one thin broken up line. Not even laterals, nothing. Just one thin broken up line. I had 3 total. I had a white base, black stripe. I had what's called almost a super blotch at the time. Had like 4 dots on the back.
It was the coolest thing ever, wasn't it?
And that red stripe, like I said, broken up line. The line was super, super thin. And that's kind of what got me into gargoyles at the time. And throughout that time when I was getting into them, I bought them as babies. That's kind of fast forward into the future. Well, what I did with these, right? But that's kind of what got me into the gargoyles. And when I was younger, I don't know if people would remember, but as a little kid, I would go to the Reptile Super Shows event with Kim Calhoun, and I would take my geckos, go sell, set up. And what ended up getting me out of it for a little while, I would say I got out of the reptile game for probably another like 5-6 years, was my brother convinced me. He goes, hey, it would be a good investment to get this crested gecko. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I'll get it. I paid like, I want to say $600 at the time for a crested gecko male. We bred it. And then I was like, I got that itch. I want another one. Then another one turned into another one. Then that other one turned into 10 other ones. And then the babies started hatching. And next thing you know, we probably had close to 50. And I was turning probably like around 20, 21 at the time. I didn't feel like breeding, taking care of animals. I wanted to go out, go have fun with my friends, just live life. And we ended up selling everything. And, what got me back into it was one day I was scrolling on Instagram, and I went on the explore page, and I ran into Red Rack's post. And I seen, I believe it was Magma at the time. I'm like, damn, that's how the gargoyle geckos look now. I'm like, I want a baby from him. I started messaging Jake. I'm like, hey, sell me a baby. He goes, he hasn't bred it yet. I'm like, oh. damn. So I waited, I want to say a year after that. I started watching all of his videos, how to, get your geckos on crickets, how to get them started on crickets, chop the heads off, this and that. I was watching every single video of him. I was watching every single video that Tiki's put out. I started watching his YouTube videos again. And I would say probably like 8 months to a year later, he goes, morph market drop. And I want to say that was probably the best and worst decision that I could have made because I would say worst decision because financially it got me going into this thing like crazy.
Yeah.
I seen that he had a baby labeled Cornerstone, and it was probably the most expensive baby on morph market at the time. It was like $4,000 for I ended up buying V. I was like,
that was V.
And that was my first gecko, is Magma Cleopatra pairing. And I sit there, I'm like, damn, that's the gecko I want. And then he goes, her back should fill in. She'll almost look like Magma. I'm like, man. And then I was contemplating, I'm like, can you please, take some money off or something like that? And then he goes, no, like there's so many people asking me for this gecko. And I was like, I waited this long. I want a nice gecko. Let me buy her. And obviously, when everybody knows, when you buy a female,
Nice.
you're like, let me buy a male. And that's when he introduced me to Johnny.
Yeah.
I bought a male from him. And the next thing you know, I met Godzilla Reptiles, Ali at the time. Bought one from him. And then everything the avalanche just started from there.
Well, dude, you started right. I mean, to start with that gecko from, Jake, I think he does realize, hopefully by now, how much of an influence, like him, the videos he had at that time were such a huge influence on me. I mean, he did so much for Gargoyles, and then, introducing everybody to Johnny and a bunch of other great breeders.
Yeah.
Mixing that with Tiki's. There's just not enough even today of Gargoyle content. And I'm glad he put out a recent video, but yeah, the guy just really inspired a lot of people, including pretty much all of us here.
And at the time, he was a big inspiration for me. At the time, like when he responded to my DMs on Instagram, that's the reason why I try to get back to everybody. He responded to my DM on Instagram. I'm like, he noticed my DM. I'm like, what the heck? He's talking to me. He's teaching me about gargoyles. So that's something that I wanted to, sometimes I do get busy, but that's something that I wanted to incorporate as, the years pass and I end up having babies. People start reaching out to me. Hey, teach me how to do this and this. And that's what I wanted to, get to at this point.
Love it. All right. So you're hooked. You got some amazing lineage. You dropped some major money. Okay. To start right. These were not $500 geckos, I'm assuming. All right.
No.
Is that why you went for the second bank account with pulling in Ricardo here, or how did that conversation happen? How did you two meet?
This guy got me good. Put it this way. I met this guy at our old job. So we started working together, and I started following him on social media. I saw his Facebook and I like animals. I just never thought I was gonna have reptiles. I'd never been never have a pet reptile as a kid. I always had dogs. So I see his Facebook, and he has a chameleon. He's posing all funny like a little kid, like this, with his chameleon. And I started making fun of him. I'm like, dude, but at the time he already started buying, I think, gargoyles. So he's like, dude, you're dumb. Like, these are expensive. Like, you know how much I paid? He started telling me. I was like, there's no way these go for this much money.
Right.
And then fast forward, he's like, hey, I have a pair of geckos for you to start off with from Johnny Rags. It was an older male. One was like colorless, and we started producing. So he sold me the pair of geckos, and fast forward, he started breeding the geckos. I was like, oh, and then we went to a trip in Japan together. He's like, hey,
sweet.
There's this badass blotch, and we already spent a lot of money. So then he's like, you want to go for this one? Oh, I was like, fuck, it was Carnage from Godzilla Reptiles.
Yep.
And then something you don't know about me and him, he's like, we have ADHD. So we go all in. Like, we started buying all these, and yeah.
Yep. And it spiraled from there. So he got you hooked with there we go. Anybody listening, if you want a buddy in crime, get them a pair of geckos, get them the first Pringle, and then they're going to go for the whole thing.
Yep.
But okay, so you guys are your friends. You met at work, right? You clearly have a passion together. What I've noticed, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Matt, you're more of the stripe guy, right? And
Yes.
Ricardo, you're more of the blotch guy. After that blotch, who's actually a full sibling to one of my blotches, right? And so I think yours is gorgeous. Mine's more of a red base. Yours definitely has more of a white base, but gorgeous animals from Renee King. And so my question is that did you guys mean to structure it that way? Is it just what you like? How do you guys structure working together? Because you're two separate entities or companies, technically. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
technically.
yeah. I mean, with the stripes, it's pretty much like really straightforward. The stripes, Ricardo's not really a stripe person. All of
Yeah.
the entire stripe project is something that I invested in, something that I'm really passionate about, and you know, getting Ricardo into gargoyles, he then noticed, I believe on Instagram, I think he's seen it. He goes, "What the heck? You never told me that there was blotches."
You're
I'm like,
gatekeeping,
well,
man.
yeah. I'm like at the time I just needed you to take those 2 geckos because I wanted
He
the
wanted
one
me
female that
to
was
get the
coming
2
my way.
geckos from
He's a good
Silver
salesman.
Knives.
Yeah, so he then noticed that Ali was selling, like what Ricardo was saying. He then noticed that Ali was selling Carnage, and he goes, "I freaking love this animal. This animal is so cool. This and that." We ended up taking the drive up to San Diego, and that's pretty much how we got started. We just split the blotches. The stripes is something that I do on my own.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah.
And so you guys sort of have separate companies. I know that, Ricardo, you not only just do blotches now, you've kind of branched off into some other projects. You want to tell us about those? What are your new kind of passion projects?
So I've always liked the white and black ones. So that's the ones I was like, they're super crisp. They're like, everyone has them. So I'm like, oh, let me start focusing on those. They're just like a side project that Matt didn't want to join. Yeah.
Yeah,
But until recently,
they're getting
until recently,
popular. They're getting very
until
popular.
recent, yeah. So we recently picked one up from Korea.
Mhm.
So
And are
you
we
tell them,
talking
Matt.
about which one from Korea? Because you picked up a few from Korea recently.
Yeah, so in that little package that we got, pretty much, we seen a gecko that Giselle posted up for sale. It was a white, what is it, Ricardo? White retake or just a
Reticulated.
white? Yeah, it was
Reticulated.
a plain white and black retake with phantom eyes. I sent that to him. I sent that to Ricardo. I'm like, this one, I will get this one. This one's cool. I'm like, the eyes are black. Just think of like an
Jet
abyss.
black.
The eyes are just black. And I was like, this thing looks really, really cool. I want to get it. So I told Ricardo, I'm like, you're going half with me.
And yeah.
So do you guys do that often where you guys will see something? Because most of the geckos you guys are going for are high price tag. Is that fair? So it's not like we're buying sub $1,000 geckos very often. So that could be a big pill to swallow for even someone as seasoned as both of you. So is that an easy way now that you have somebody where you can do that? You can kind of hedge your bets and split the cost.
Yeah, it's super easy as long as you have a good relationship with the person, like a good working relationship. Obviously, me and Ricardo, we met each other from working together. We were with each other for like 5 days a week on the same schedule every week. I would see this guy all day, every day, and I wouldn't even have breaks in between my lunch with him. He would sit on the table.
Nice.
Let's play Fortnite, and yeah, I mean, as long as you're close with
you
the
gotta
person,
trust
yeah, you. Trust is the biggest thing because obviously when it comes down to money, and we've sold geckos together, it's pretty much just like an even split for the most part. So it's very simple when it comes down to the money. Either the person is going to send, if the person reaches out to Ricardo, hey, I want this watch. The person is going to send Ricardo the money. Once Ricardo collects all the money, he's going to send me half. Or if the person reaches out to me about, a stripe blotch that we kind of put together or a blotch, they send me the money. Once I receive all of it, half of it goes to Ricardo. So it's just very straightforward. As long as, you could trust that person. Obviously, Ricardo's his cousin's my girlfriend, so I'm kind of like stuck with them. So
Nice.
yeah. So yeah, like as long as
Did you set that up too, Matt?
He
He got
set
me
that
good.
up
He got me on
actually.
that one.
He actually
No,
set
he
me
got
up.
me good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He set me up on that one. Yeah.
No comment.
Very nice. I love
As
it.
long as you have a good trusting working relationship with that person, you'll be fine. Obviously, you don't want to go into business. You don't want to deal with high ticket animals. You don't want to split half of the money with somebody, especially when that other person is gonna have your collection, have technically half your money at their house.
Yeah.
You don't want to just do that with anybody, because if it's the wrong person, he could get, you know, just cut you off, and you're pretty much just left out dry. So as long as you have that one, you know, somebody that you could trust, a family member, a really close friend, or anything like that, you'll be good.
That's awesome. Now,
Mhm.
if you don't mind me asking, did you guys ever think about writing up any contracts, or is this based on just trust?
Just
No,
trust.
just trust. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Honestly, if it's like the only things that we have to work out kind of is like,
Hmm.
say I get one of my stripes and then we pair up one of the blotches that we would have. We go, oh, we could do like 70-30 or 60-40, something like that. Just yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's pretty much just straightforward. We don't really need contracts with it because I see this man every weekend.
Hmm. He's here too
I see.
often.
Yeah, I see him every weekend. I'm trying to work. He's over there calling me. Hey, what's up? How's your day going? I'm like, leave me alone, bro.
Okay. Okay.
Leave me alone. I'm playing Fortnite. I
This guy.
love it. Very cool. Awesome. So I'm glad it's going well. There's obviously some trust there. I want to jump into individual projects that you guys are excited about, because when I think of the top 5, producers of high-end geckos, not even just in the United States, but worldwide, you guys definitely come to mind. So I'm going to ask you, you guys can go in either order. I don't care who goes first, but what is the group that you're the most excited about this year? And what is your vision for that group?
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, for me, projects that I'm most excited about, I just imported Jupiter. Not a lot of people know about him. Well, obviously, if you purchase from Giselle, you'll most of his high end babies come from Jupiter.
Well, let's
So
talk real quick. I'm gonna apologize to interrupt, but just for the people who aren't in this 24/7 like you and I, who is
yes,
Giselle, and where are they from, and why are they important in the gargoyle hobby?
Giselle is a breeder from Korea. That man produces insane babies year after year. I'm like, what the heck is he doing? What special recipe does he have? Because every single baby he posts one, I'm like, I want to buy that one. I want that one for me. I buy it, and then a week later he posts another baby. I'm like, what the heck? He has another copy of it. I'm like, what is he doing over there? And come to find out, I have a really good relationship with him because I purchase a lot from him. Come to find out from Giselle is most of his hiring babies that are coming out are coming from one male. And that male is Jupiter. And one day, I believe we just I got off the phone with you, Bobby. We were talking and I was expressing my concern about Hellboy. I'm like, Hellboy's so tiny. He hit, you know, he hit his weight. I don't know if he's at a I don't know if he's going to grow more. I don't know if he's going to stay the same, but he's stuck at 30, 32 grams. Sometimes he drops to 28. I'm like, he's too small. He got the
Mhm.
job done last year, but that was with the smaller female Phoenix. He got the job done with her, and I'm like, oh yeah. So with Hellboy, obviously, he was able to handle Phoenix's weight. He was working perfectly fine with her. There was no issues in fighting. There's no issues in drop tails. I didn't see any bite marks or any scarring or anything like that. But he's so small to the point where I can't pair him to a 60-gram female. I can't pair him to
How
a
big is he right now?
55. Hellboy right now, I want to say he's around 32, just because I've had him
Wow.
separated. He's
Yeah.
he's on the smaller side, which sucks, but what I noticed with his offsprings are growing like weeds. They're not
Mhm.
having that issue where they're staying small. I believe they're getting the genetics from Phoenix because she is a pretty, she's a little on the bigger side
She's a
for a female.
madness baby.
Yep. Yep.
Too
But
much plug here. Yeah.
yep. But yeah. So I ran into that issue, and I believe we spoke about it. And later on that night, I was just scrolling through. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna ask Giselle. I purchased from him multiple times. I'm gonna ask him. I send him a picture. And every time we talk to each other, we go, "Hey, bro, what's up, bro?" So I messaged him. I'm like, "Hey, bro, would you sell Jupiter to me?" And then he goes, "Yeah, I will, but I paid 15,000." I'm like, "I'm not paying that much." I'm like, "You paid 15,000 when he was younger, probably like
Yeah.
around like 4 years ago. I believe he's around 5 or 6 years. He paid that much when he was younger." I'm like, "I'm
Mhm.
not paying that much." He's a little older now. His color faded a bit. Obviously, that doesn't really matter in the schemes of breeding because the genetics stay as a gecko ages. The genetics are going to be there. But we ended up agreeing on a price, and we agreed, I want to say January. We kind of missed one of the exports, so we missed that export, and I had to wait till this month to get him. I finally
Mhm.
got him in. He's gonna be paired up with Kimchi. She actually comes from Ruby's Reptiles. I believe I don't know if she's a clutch mate, but exact sibling to Carnage that he has, the one that won
Gold
the
standard Gecko Club.
Yes, that contest. He
Yeah.
won that contest. I have Phoenix waiting for him. The Magnus baby. I have Nova waiting for him. She comes from Johnny Rex, and then I also have Bacon waiting for him. She was, uh, if a lot of people knew at the time when Godzilla was breeding, she was his main female that he would pair up with Mr. Incredible. So I have that lineup set for him. I'm expecting huge things from that lineup.
Honestly,
Yeah.
if you don't, I'd just hang up your breeding hat at that point. Like
Yeah.
if the babies don't come out like some of the best in the world at that point, you cannot buy a better lineup. You cannot produce a better lineup in
Mhm.
today's world. Maybe in 5 years it'll be better, but
Yeah.
it is a dream team that makes anybody drool.
And
Yeah.
one thing that I want to tell everybody is I didn't just buy them as adults. Obviously, I bought Jupiter
Mhm.
as an adult and I bought Bacon as an adult, but everything else that I have in my collection, I bought them as babies. I don't know if anybody remembers, but the first people that started following me, that always message me, "Hey, you have babies? Hey, you have babies?" I'm like, "No, my geckos are still babies." So if I could give anybody any advice is buy young, invest in high quality young babies, even though that it
But
is a weight. Mhm.
it is, and I agree with you. My question for you is because I've heard this story, and maybe you could tell it really quickly. But when you're going to expos or you're looking on Morph Market,
Yes.
what are the things that catch your eye with a baby that goes, that has potential? Is it just the lineage and the parents, or are there certain physical markers that people can find kind of a diamond in the rough? Because you just seem to have an eye for finding those geckos that are just adults.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, I found kimchi at the Super Show. Honestly, when I'm looking, I'm trying to find something that's a full six stripe, something that has some speckling. Because my favorite thing, as everybody knows, is head color and eyebrow color. I try to find something that has some speckling of head color coming in. Obviously, lineage plays a big deal in it. I don't want to say, there's gonna be those babies that come out of so pairing. It's gonna come
Mhm.
out every once in a while. We had one like that with the geckos that I got Ricardo into. If you look at them, you're like, what the heck? This baby came out of them.
Yeah, they looked nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those
but
looked really nice.
Yeah, but I want to say if you're looking for the cream of the crop is look at the lineage. Try to find, those little markers. What I look for is anything that expresses a little bit of head color. Anything that, what Tiki's always says is you could tell if a gecko is going to keep its color if it looks like it's painted on like multiple coats.
Hmm.
You could tell if a gecko is going to end up losing that color if it's very faded as a baby. I have purchased some. Well, I purchased one that looked amazing as a baby, super vibrant. But you could tell, and I learned this now, is you could tell when they're babies if it doesn't look like it's stacked onto the color. As that
Mhm.
gecko ages, this gecko's only, I want to say, 4 years old, and it looks worse than a 8-year-old gecko. Like the color is pretty much gone. I So my markers is looking for something that has very thick coloring, looking for something that has, some head color. And obviously if you're looking for a stripe, look look for something with at least some laterals. If it's a little broken up and you see the parents and they have full six stripe, I want
It
to say
can fill in
probably I
slightly.
want to say probably around 60% of the time it could connect. I do have one baby from Hellboy that hatched out. The laterals were completely gone. They were all broken up. It has full laterals. So my thing is looking into the lineage. I'm really big on lineage, looking at how
Mhm.
the parents look because, like I said before, you could find a super nice baby, but it comes from so and so gecko. So it doesn't mean, later on down the line, it's going to be consistently producing those type of geckos.
Whether you call it painted on, what I see it as more and more are with all gecko, like gargoyle geckos, crested geckos, the color is so layered in them.
Mhm.
And that's how
Hmm.
you're getting the different looks and the base color. And I don't know how many layers there truly are of the different colors. And if someone knows, put it in the comments for us, please educate us. But it almost looks like they're just doubled up in the pattern color, and that's
Yeah.
what's so it gives the longevity. And that's with a lot of my orange stuff too. I'm trying to match that level of intensity without it turning red, right?
Hmm.
And I've definitely accomplished that in some of my geckos. And then we've talked about freckling, how much we both love freckling. As much as we love the eyebrows, there's that some of those little spots on the face turn into big patches
Hmm.
later on.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things that I remember when we first started talking, I felt really good about it. I know you probably were a little bit salty, but I ended up getting a gecko, Bali, right, from
Mm.
Jake.
Oh, man.
So no, actually, that was from my
J Reptiles
J
from
Reptiles.
Joseph.
J
Yes,
Yeah.
reptiles.
man, dude. And I had been talking to him for a while, and he shows me this little baby, and he goes, "Let me get you updated pictures," right? And when I got the updated pictures, I'm like, "Holy crap, that thing has potential!"
Yeah.
And I instantly bought it right then and there. And I think you were looking at it too.
It,
So we have
it's
similar
funny
tastes.
because Yeah, it's funny because I seen the gecko. I seen when he updated his listings on his website. I called Ricardo, doesn't answer. Calling answer.
Thanks,
I'm sending him
Ricardo.
text. I'm sending him text. I'm Ricardo, look at this gecko. I'm like, you want to go half? I'm like, this is your time to get a stripe. I believe this was before he got Carnage. I'm like,
Mhm.
this would go good with the two stripes that you have now. I'm like, I could help you get this one, or you could buy this one for your project on your own. I'm like, this one's gonna be super nice because it had those markers. It had the speckling on the side of the body. It
Yes.
had that thick banding on the dorsal, everything. Then the gecko looked amazing. And it
Magma
was
baby
very
too. Yep.
and it was very competitively priced, I want to say.
Yes.
Very.
Yes.
And once Ricardo finally responded to me, I called Joseph because I have his number because I had Bacon over there at the time, and I called him. I'm like, "Sell me this baby. I need it now." I'm like, "I'll send you the money." He goes, "Bobby just sent me the money like 30 seconds ago." I'm like, "Oh my god!" And then I message you.
Damn it, Bobby.
I'm like, I can't believe you got this gecko. Congrats, but I'm mad.
Yeah.
And
You
then
are,
next
but
thing you know, she's like a 80 gram, fully
she's a
connected.
beast.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
man.
her babies are looking pretty nice too. But maybe I'll
Hmm.
hook you up with one of those. And hey, you know what? Things happen for a reason. Ricardo may
Yeah,
not have any blotches at this point if he kept with the
yeah.
stripes, right?
Hmm.
I highly doubt that's an accurate statement, but we can joke about it. Awesome. So yeah, those are I think that project that we talked about is going to be absolutely killer. Ricardo, what's the project that you're the most excited about right now?
So
Yeah,
for
yeah,
me,
yeah.
my project would be Carnage and Tigra for the highlighter. I'm looking for the color and the pattern. I know Carnage is more on the smaller side, but he has everything else like the horns, the color, and then Tigra comes in bright orange. So I'm trying to make kind of like what Samshi is doing in China.
Yes, and I've heard about that a lot. So
Same sibling.
would you mind telling us what you define highlighter as? Because I think that's something that's really getting popular and talked about.
Super bright red orange, kind of like it just pops with the light, with no light. It's just when you hold it, it's just like glowing. It's like a glowing color.
Yes. Yeah, kind of like how I'm trying to make my background right now.
Yeah.
You know? So, I think, and I don't know what creates that, whether I've heard theories where it's base color influence, where it's kind of like how we're talking about, though, there's multiple layers, and how maybe it's a layer of orange mixed with the red.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, and so
Because most of the
No,
babies,
please.
the babies that came out from last year,
Mhm.
they all had the same punch and color.
Yeah. And I know the first time I saw anything like that was actually from Aerotonix. He calls it his iridescent line, but it's all stripes. So it's not the blotches. So I love that you're working. Tigro, dude, that was a heck of a
She's
pickup.
badass.
She is
She's badass.
amazing. And because even that, with the blotches, you know, I know David Atiki's just released a really cool video where he goes over the different types of blotches and reticulation. And I think that's really important for people to wrap their minds around if they want to get into those, because there is the banded. I would say she is more of like a tiger banded, but like thick banding.
Yeah.
Right? Not the
Yeah, and
little
it's
thin banding.
It's not little thin banding. It's not like the little confetti pattern. It's something that when we seen, same thing. We got her from Giselle.
Mhm.
She was pretty much almost ready to breed at the time. We seen her. I'm like, we were originally gonna go with another female that was a little
More
cheaper.
expensive. Cheaper or expensive?
Yeah, a little more cheaper at the time, and she was a little smaller. And I told Ricardo, I'm like, we can't pass upon this.
He was just going to charge you more, Ricardo.
Yeah, yeah, and then I told him, like, we can't pass
He
upon
would.
this one.
He would.
Yeah, but
That's like, shut up.
yeah, I'm like, damn. No, but I called him. I remember I was on my way to the office. I was actually, going into work, and I told him, I'm like, we can't pass up on this gecko. This gecko, the original one that we were gonna get, it's your standard blotch, the confetti pattern, almost, fully, almost a full body. I believe it was leaning a little closer towards a skeleton with side speckles on the side of the body. And I was like, I told him, I'm like, we can't pass up on this one. It's gonna be, an extra few $100 for both of us. Well, what is that really gonna do in the, bigger scheme of
things? Yeah.
And I told him, I'm like, we can't pass up. This gecko is that highlighted color that you're looking for. It has the thick banding. You don't really see that here in the US.
In the
you might
US.
see it. You might see it in Korea, China, or I don't know if Europe has a blotching like that, but you see them more overseas and not here in the US. In the US, it's mostly, full coverage blotches. It's more skeletons. It's more stripes and blotches. It's a little mix of, of all of them. So I told him, I'm like, we can't pass upon this female. And good thing, we ended up, making up our mind, and we got her, and
We got
every single
3.
bait. Yeah.
3 geckos. Don't forget Ghost Rider.
Yeah,
He made me get the Ghost Rider.
Nice.
So it was 1 gecko. It turned into 2 biting 2 geckos.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and then and yeah,
this is an expensive friendship.
Very.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
but
awesome.
yeah,
And Ghost Rider's a black and white, right?
No, Ghost Rider's
No,
the head color.
the eyebrow
blotch.
one.
Yeah, the eyebrow. With one eyebrow now. He lost one.
Yeah, that
After
happens.
breeding.
Yeah, Ghost Rider's mainly, I forgot the name of your gecko, but the skeleton with the eyebrows, Ghost Rider's a fully, connected back skeleton he had 2 eyebrows at the time, but now he only has 1 because the females kind of beat him up. But yeah, when I seen him, I'm like, I like that gecko. I'm like, that one's cool. So I told Ricardo, I'm like, we can't pass up on this one. We can't pass up.
But it's a completely different blotch kind of thing. The whole skeleton blotch, it's got a lot of stripe influence. I don't know if stripes were used to create it or not. That's debated.
Oh no.
But what's interesting
I heard
is
50,
those.
50.
Yeah, I've heard it too. But again, until I recreated doing it one way or another, most people who are trying to recreate skeletons try to keep skeleton to skeleton, because if you go to other kinds of blotches, you're going to just end up creating skeleton super blotches where they start with a skeleton and then the side pattern just explodes, which is an awesome look in itself, but it's not a skeleton.
Yeah.
And so it's not usually as clean looking. But yeah, it's interesting how that got really popular. But, when it comes to stripes to me, everybody's going for head color. It doesn't matter what style you're into. Eyebrows, head color is sort of that next frontier because it's so hard to get color on and then even harder to get it to stay. Right. When I
Yeah.
first got into stripes with it, everybody's like, oh, they just disappear. Who gives a, hoot about eyebrows,
Mhm.
until Phil Tremper really started to get them to stay, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden now we're talking, and then other people are following suit. But with the blotches, we're still at the early stages. So a lot of young eyebrow blotches, and a lot of them are the skeletons, right? They may
Mhm.
not stick around, or one
Yeah.
disappears, or but I think that'll change as we keep refining these lines.
Yeah, and that's something that we did hatch one from Carnage and Nova, and
Nice.
that one,
That one.
yeah, that one's super nice. That's my favorite type of blotch. It's a full skeleton with thick eyebrows, and what we're planning on that one is getting one of Hellboy's babies, getting one of Jupiter's babies as they grow, and pair them up together. Try to see if we could get you know, try to see if we could work those eyebrows into that one, and then cross it back into another skeleton later on, just so
That
we
would be
could,
cool.
yeah, just so we could get those eyebrows to be painted on, because I've hatched out babies and I'm like, dang, the eyebrows are nice. It sheds, gone. The eyebrows are gone, head color's gone. So that's something that I want to get to stay.
Yeah. Okay, so you're already thinking a few years in the future, right? Whether we
Hmm.
start crossing different, one thing that's challenging is I know all three of us, we're not mass producers of these animals. What would you say is your collection size, and how big after the last few years do you see your collection size growing?
With mine, I want to say I probably have 12 adults. That's kind of like max what I want to keep them at, other than, the holdbacks that I have. I want to say I want to keep it around 12 to 20 breeders.
Yeah,
All in all, yeah, 12 to 20, it's pretty small compared to a lot of
a lot
other
of people.
breeders. A lot of other people have like 40 groups going. They have over 100 adults. No, that's far from me. Then that's not for me. I still have a full-time job. Plus I have to clean, feed, water, pretty much every night with these geckos, and make sure that it's not that they're not living in filth 24/7. And I noticed, as when I was younger, I think everybody has to go through that what's the word? Everybody has to go through that time and go through that experience one time in, getting X and X amount of geckos, having all these quote unquote projects, but you don't know who to pair them up with, and then being overwhelmed with geckos. I feel like that's a situation that everybody has to go through to figure out what you want to keep your size at. Because
Hmm.
until then, you're gonna keep buying and buying and buying babies, this and that, and then you're gonna get to the point where you're like, damn, this is a lot of work. I'm actually spending 2 to 3 hours to clean these geckos. I'm spending, like 40 minutes, 40 to an hour every night, just watering, even longer, cleaning dishes, cleaning bowls, switching out paper towels. It
Baby bowls are the
it adds
worst.
up. Hmm.
And I know there's
Yeah.
easier ways to do it than I do it, but I've got those little like caps, right? The rubber
The
caps.
Hmm.
rubber. The
Yeah.
rubber.
And I get off Amazon, you get them a bunch of different places. But I sit there and I soak mine, and then I just take my power washer and try to like do that, and then I
Yeah.
throw them in the dishwasher. It still takes 20 minutes to do,
Yeah.
and if I'm doing that every the third day, because if you let them sit, they just mold,
Yeah. And they start
it's
to stink.
nasty. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. You usually with mine, what I do, I throw a lot of Dawn soap into a bucket, throw them
Yep.
all into a bucket, get hot water and let them sit for 2 hours, and then I go at it to go clean them because everything just slides off after that.
Yep.
That
Oh, that's a
that's
huge
my little
trick.
yeah, that's my little hack, but I'm actually gonna invest in one of those little mini washers, the little washing machines that that White Tank has. I did buy one, but that one ended up breaking because all the little baby bowls would get underneath where the little engine
Oh
was at,
shoot.
Okay.
and it ended up just messing that entire thing up. So I was like, forget this.
Yeah. It just dumps it all on your kitchen counter or something.
That's something that I'm looking into getting is one of those little washing machines just to make everything easier. Just throw them in, let it do its thing, and then take them out, let them dry.
I've never used one. I've been told they're awesome, but I just always
hmm
wonder, are they going to get it really all the little food things that get stuck in the like edges
So
and things?
so that's where soaking comes in because if you just throw them in,
They
as they
won't.
dry,
Hmm.
I've taken mine out. I'm like, what the heck? This thing is not cleaning. I'm like, this thing's a piece of junk. I'm gonna throw it away. And I was like, you know what? Let me soak. Let me soak them for like 2 hours and let the gunk lift up a bit. And when you do that, it actually does clean them. But mine
Hmm.
was fairly small and I was packing it a lot. But I'm pretty sure if you get a little bigger one, it'll clean it perfectly fine. But as long as you let them soak, the main thing when you're cleaning is just soaking your bowls. That's the easiest thing to do, and then
Yeah,
going at them after.
absolutely.
hmm
So, Ricardo, are you around the same number or a
I
little
think I'm
less?
like at probably like at 10 males, but now with all my white geckos. But I think I'm
Hmm.
like, well, not 10 males, 10 adults and a few babies now since we sold most of them. But
Nice.
I think total I'm like 20, 30. But
Okay.
I'm out of space. I don't really have much space. So I had to get rid of a few.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. I mean, I went and bought a second baby rack just because I knew I was breeding a lot more females this year. I'm up to 14
hmm
females. And right now, I actually built a third smaller baby rack that are 3-ounce containers.
3 ounce.
And that is awesome. It is
Yeah,
phenomenal.
it's like these ones. I want to say having a newborn baby in one of these is
It's
way better
easy.
than having them in
How
a
big are
little
those?
6 ounce. It's pretty much they're
Wow,
pretty
yeah.
tiny. And
Yeah,
so
it's almost like a
they're
4.
really
Yeah,
tiny. hmm
that's
But
cool.
having
The only thing you got to be careful is for the gecko's tails to not get stuck.
yeah, when you're sliding them
When you're
out,
pulling
but
them out.
mhm,
It's crazy. It doesn't happen very often, but even the regular PVC enclosures, I've heard stories, all right, I won't say from who, but I know someone
mhm,
who pulled out, right? And sometimes they get sticky, right? Like the PVC kind of sags, or depending on the model that you
yeah,
have and who you bought it from, or if you did DIY. And apparently, like, this was like one that kind of always kind of stuck a little bit, so they didn't think much of it. But this time, the gecko, they don't even know what happened. The gecko got stuck in between the top and the actual container, and as they
That
pulled,
sucks.
it degloved the entire gecko. I was like, "Oh,
Oh my
man, way to
God.
give me nightmares."
That's
yeah,
Like,
sad.
now I'm worried, especially, like, with the really nice babies. I'm like, I just want you to grow and put you in your own, like, front opening enclosure so that I don't have to worry about that. But,
yeah,
luckily, it's very, very rare, but just, after I heard that, I'm very slow to open my
Yeah.
yeah.
containers
And then
now.
you're looking, you're peeking in to see if it's there.
It's like, get off the top. I don't
Yeah,
even I put little perches in mine, right, that are made of foam, and
mhm,
I used to keep them higher up, right? It's a perch, that would make sense. I
yeah,
now keep them lower for that
yeah,
reason because I don't
Yeah.
want anything
yeah.
getting stuck.
Same here. I usually keep mine at the midpoint because I don't want the gecko to be all the way at the top.
It's typically the tail that ends up on top. Because the other day
hmm
I snipped the little tail a little bit, but
Yep.
it wasn't where it dropped it. I was just scared it was gonna drop it. But you just got to be
Yeah.
careful.
Yeah, if you get just the tip, then all of a sudden, you ever see the geckos where it forks off and it looks like a
Yeah, too.
mermaid's tail? Yeah,
Yeah.
like, that's kinda cool. Awesome. Alright, well, speaking of babies, okay, you guys have produced some really nice high-end babies, both blotches and stripes. How do you go about deciding which ones you're gonna hold back while trying to stay small versus which ones you're gonna sell? And is
That's
that,
facts.
especially you guys sometimes need to have that conversation together. At least I just have to
That's
have it with myself.
that's where we
So
argue. That's where
that's
we
where you
argue.
argue. Okay. Is that where I get a text message from both of you? What do you think of this baby?
Ricardo's the one where he goes,
Like, why do you
Sell
want
them
it? Like, we
all.
already have good ones. We
Yeah,
already have good geckos to produce it. You'll make more.
he's more of, we could sell them. We have the parents here,
Yes.
and we can make another one. I'm like, oh, this
Or
one's cool.
better.
I'm like, I want to keep it. I'm like, this one's super cool. So with me, if I see something super nice and it's something that I'm like, dang, this is actually really cool, I get attached to them and I don't want to sell them. But I mean, for me, I remember I was watching one of Tiki's videos and he goes, I'm gonna try to limit myself to one
2
baby per
per
year per
pairing.
pair.
Mhm.
So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I know
Yeah.
a lot of people have messaged me asking me, "Hey, would you sell this?" I'm like, "Heck no, I'm not selling you this." I'm like, "This thing's cool." And that's where like I had to, think about it. I'm like, "Okay, I can't keep them all. Uh, I can't keep them all. I have to get rid of some because if not, my baby rack is going to be completely full and
Mhm.
I'm going to run out of space like last time. And then I'm going to get overwhelmed and then I'm not going to want to do it no more." So I try to keep mine minimal. Once I see my baby rack getting more than halfway close to the bottom, like, yeah, it's time for me to, take pictures, post them up on Morph Market, run some deals for people, like my Palm Street, I run,
Matt,
dollar starts. I'm like,
Dude, I was
take a
pissed I didn't get that
Matt,
notification. God.
yeah, Matt never takes pictures. Matt, so if Matt's taking pictures, it's serious because he never has time for anything. All he wants to do is game. So when he takes pictures, you know he's serious as hell.
Nice. Yeah, and I know, like Matt said, Ricardo, you're more of the, let's make some more. This is what we're doing it for. We're gonna get these geckos in new hands. And I would say I'm more on your side of it. And my rationale, let me know if you have a different rationale with this, is that, these geckos, I've spent a lot of money and a lot of time procuring these
Yeah.
individual animals, growing them out, right? And yes, I want to hold back some of their babies. Don't get me wrong, right? There needs to be backups and there will be heirs to the throne. However, they better be a damn good heir to the throne,
Yeah.
right? And so, I'm more willing to let things go. But also, these animals, one hard thing for me to think about is they live. How many years
yeah,
have you guys been doing this? They live like
I've
25,
been
30
to
years, and they
yep,
breed for a lot of that. Maybe not the females as
yeah,
much, but especially the males. So it's like, can I justify flipping my breeders every 4 years, 5 years? Like, is that fair to the
yeah.
gecko? You know?
yeah,
I don't know. There's no
yeah.
right or wrong
That's
answer.
yeah, that's something that I've had conversations with Ricardo about. I'm like, it's gonna come to a time where Carnage is too old, Tigra is too old. We got to find something to replace them with because at the time Ricardo wanted to sell everything. I'm like, we got to hold something back because if not, we're not going to have anything to breed later on. We're going to come to the point where Tigra is throwing out duds 24/7. She's not really that fertile no more,
But it's
and
also
that's
great. It's also great for us seeing like people having our geckos
Mm-hmm.
and to see what they make. So
yeah,
that's
because
where I'm
Absolutely.
like, okay, that's where
yeah,
I like
that
seeing like, oh, that's gonna be a sick pairing. Like, hopefully they make something better than mine. That's the cool part because you never know.
yeah,
No, you
and
don't.
that's something that I feel like we're running into a bit. I don't know if you ran into it a bit, Bobby, because we're fairly new. Is no one really has our geckos as adults. The ones that we've
I
sold
th-
them, they're
yeah,
more juveniles. They're
baby.
more in probably 20 to 25 grams. A few of them, but those 20 to 25 grams aren't even
They're
from your
nice.
best pairing. So it's like trying to when people come asking, hey, I want to buy one of your best, I show them, they go, it doesn't look like the mom. I'm like, it's a baby, give it time to grow, give it
Or it's
time to
not red,
progress.
or they tell you
Hmm.
it's not
Oh, yeah, I
red.
Or
hate that.
yeah,
It's not red.
oh,
Unless the
Yeah,
parents are like my orange stuff, right? Because I have had to ask
hmm,
people, I say, will it stay orange? And I can't guarantee
yeah.
yeah,
anything,
orange is
but
really hard.
I can get really, like, if it's coming from Bermuda and Magnus, I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure. Like, again,
It's
I kind of
orange.
look at the center stripe. If the center stripe is a pale orange, almost a yellow when it's
Yeah,
younger, I'm more likely to say it's going to be orange. If it's a
yeah.
Yeah,
dark any hint of red whatsoever, it's probably going to turn all red, or what I'm hoping is that lava color that we're going after where it's got both colors in it.
I like that lava one. The lava one's nice.
Yeah. And so, it's just that brighter, versus the dark
Traditional
red. So I think that there's all a place, but yeah, it's hard to say for sure because we don't have the babies, especially because your best breeders just started, I think, last year, right? For all of us.
Carnage has always been small.
Yeah.
So it's like it's tough pairing them.
So, and that's another thing I want to bring up is we all three have talked about how we have males where their size is prohibitive with pairing. And yes, we can pair to larger females if the male is eager enough and we're smart about it. However, we don't know how big the babies are going to get, so we can't guarantee they're going to be much bigger. Structure seems to be a big thing, right? And a lot of these geckos we're talking about have great head structure, like the horns. People comment how amazing their head structure is. But when it comes to body composition, do they need to be big geckos, or is there a place for smaller geckos?
The female has, because tell them about Nova, Matt. Like we noticed that some were super, super tiny. And then some came out like double the size, like right out the egg, and they eat like twice as much.
Yeah, so I would say yes. Well, for me, obviously everybody likes, especially if you're gonna have a really nice gecko. I would kind of compare it to Kimchi. Kimchi's huge. She's super nice, and you take her out, you're like, damn, this gecko's huge. Her color is super nice. Versus if you're taking out an adult and it's kind of like Hellboy, 30 grams, you're like, what the heck? Like, grow already. But yes, I would say size really plays a big role, especially if you're gonna be breeding. Obviously, if it's a pet,
size wouldn't matter for a pet.
It's fine, but it's not fine. But I would say it really comes into play when you want to breed, especially with the female, because the female is gonna go through, especially if it's her first season, it's gonna be kind of tough on her. It's gonna take a toll on her. And if she doesn't have that extra fat, the extra bone density, the extra weight to her, she's really, really prone to crashing. And that's something that, knock on wood, we haven't ran into yet because most of our females are pretty big. But that's something that, mainly on females, I would say it really, when you're looking for breeders, you don't want a tiny female. She's going to be really prone to crashing, especially if you're breeding her year round. She's gonna crash for the most part. Some females are a little smaller and they could handle it. They could lay their eggs and only drop probably like 5 grams, and that's perfectly normal. But there's other ones where they're really tiny and they're gonna drop 10 grams. They're gonna look like they're skin and bones. So with me, I wanna have a female that is a little
healthy.
That's really healthy, a little on the chunkier side, just so she can have that extra fat storage when she does lay. And another thing that me and Ricardo like to do, just off topic, is we try to feed them a pinky. We try to get them
if they could take the pinky, because everyone will take it.
And do you guys chop them up at all?
I have to for the smaller ones. It's nasty, man. I gotta chop off the head. It's disgusting.
Dude, I cut them straight down the middle. So for my, so I don't do it for the babies, right? But anything that's around 10 grams, I'll start by chopping them right through the middle. And I use the extra small pinky mice, right? And that's how you can get them hooked on it. Because once you put that in front of them, you have to be patient the first few times, right? Some just pounce, right? If they're in that lanky, I want to eat everything stage, you might get lucky, right?
Yeah.
But what I'll do sometimes is I'll start with a quarter and I'll let them lick the guts and get the juiciest parts, and they just lap it up like it's diet.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they go, and you can see it in their eyes right before they're going to do it.
Their eyes like just go.
Yeah.
And then they go after it and they're like,
and once you get them on those, that's where some growth can really happen. I think that and bugs are so important.
Man, I am 50-50 with
most of ours don't take bugs.
Yeah, they don't. Well, mine, I could throw the crickets in, but I
Yeah.
really hate crickets. I hate
I
them
do
so much.
too.
I wish they could just stick to dubia roaches. A lot of them don't like dubias.
They won't
You
even
mainly
tongue them.
have to tongue feed them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going back and watching Red Rack's video like 40 times, and he's trying to teach you how to get them on dubias. I'm like, I'm trying the same thing. I'm like, damn, geckos aren't taking them. I'm like, I was getting frustrated. And then I started, doing crickets, but they stink. I don't like them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of
Mhm,
crickets. I'm starting to get back into crickets. I always said I wouldn't, but
mhm.
they're in my basement, and I have my gecko tent. So if some get loose, at the end of
That's
the
cool.
day, they're not going to be all over my house. And if they make noise, they're in
Yeah.
my basement, so it doesn't bother me at night. So I really don't have any excuse. What actually got me back into it, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but there are certain breeders that both genetically have focused on size. But more
Yes.
importantly, if you listen to what they're doing, they're feeding crickets once to twice a week, right?
Mhm.
And the biggest person that I've kind of taken a cue from is Paige from Cosmic. Dude,
Yes.
every single baby she posts, I look at the date that they're hatched,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, what the hell are you doing, Paige? Like
Yeah,
you
they're all
got some
big.
magic. Like
Yeah,
they're
like
so big for how young they are. And I'm like, well, she does what she preaches.
Yeah, and that's something that, well, same thing I noticed here, but I bug Sam Shi about it. I'm like, what the heck? You posted this gecko like 2 months ago and
Damn,
it's already
she's
10
like,
grams. I'm like,
Uh
what the heck are you doing? He goes, crickets, bro. Crickets, bro. I'm like, well, yeah, crickets for the geckos are really beneficial, but they just think that's the only thing I
So,
hate about
so I'm joking here, but
them.
for a second there, I was kind of joking around with my wife. I'm like, can we just, maybe in the calcium powder, I mix a little MSG into the calcium powder, make sure they taste real good. So,
It's funny because I've tried so many alternatives, like the little cricket powder. I got the IB Exotics, the little cricket diet.
I got the
None of
green
that
worm
works.
one, the
Yeah,
green worm powder. Remember?
none,
do they like those?
none
I've
of
never
that.
tried that with them.
Mm, I
I
don't.
feed it every day.
You mixed it. I mixed it. I think when I had the
Mhm.
packet, I mixed it with the food.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
So, do
yeah,
you guys
but
have a favorite
yeah,
food that you feed other than the pinkies and
Pangea, fig and insects, and then I mixed it with the one from Korea, Vitamil.
the Vitamil? Yeah.
But I only put like one scoop, like 5 scoops of the Pangea and the Vitamil one because the geckos won't eat it. They don't like it. Maybe it's the pack I got.
See, I have great success with I feed straight Vitamil right now.
Oh,
yeah,
straight.
I mean, just I put usually when I make it up, it's like 4 scoops of Vitamil to make my thing, and then one of those scoops is going to be the cricket powder, right? Because I want to get
yeah.
as much cricket. Though I will say one thing that I'm switching over to that I'm testing out, and I'm not going to say that this is like the end all be all quite yet because I want to do some more testing, but I'm having a great feeding response is Aerotonics food.
Mm.
It's a little tiny packet, and then you mix it with a
Yeah.
bunch of fresh fruit, canned fruit, and kefir. And what I've been doing is making a huge batch and then freezing it in like squeeze bottles like this, right? And then squeeze out all the air, freeze it, and then it's good to go for a while. They love that stuff, dude. Like just lap it up, and I don't know. To me, it seems a little healthier. It smells delicious. But the one bad thing is that shit will mold. There's no like mold inhibitors in that, which
Overnight, literally within 24 hours, it's done.
it's done. And
Mhm.
so it's a good thing because they still eat it, and they eat it a lot
Yeah.
faster. Where I noticed with a lot of the other diets, they wait till almost day 2 to eat it. Do you ever
Mine
notice
doesn't eat
that?
day 2. Mine
Yours
eats
won't
till
eat?
only day 1. Like Carnage, he's
Yeah.
such a bad eater, but he only eats it when like it's fresh. He won't eat it like when it's like 2 days old.
Yeah, I
He's
want to
fancy
say
that
with
way.
mine, yeah.
That guy is oh my god! I deal with his food all the.
Prima
I think I
donna.
tried skipping it. I tried skipping him for like 3 days, and
Uh,
he still it doesn't eat as much compared to everyone else. Everyone kills the food, and he's the
Mhm.
only one that just touches it with his tongue and he's done. I'm like this guy.
well, I think that's something too with selective breeding that we're doing is
Yeah.
we are selectively going to, whether we mean to or not, breed animals that are good eaters on diet because it's easy, and they're going to be good. We could select for good cricket eaters, because gargoyles are carnivores. They eat other geckos for the most part. They probably do eat some bugs, but I don't think bugs are as big of a diet, in New Caledonia from all the, information I've gathered as some of the other New Cal species. And I think both them and lychees, they pound other geckos in the wild is their main diet, and other little lizards and things like that. So I don't know I think that's why people have issues getting them onto crickets, but I think we're going to eventually breed ones that, because over time we've selectively bred for the ones that grow faster, and the ones that grow faster typically are the ones that are willing to eat the crickets. So
yeah, and it's pretty weird because you see certain lines that are consistent with their babies just being, just hunters, like they go crazy for them. And then
yes.
other lines where they look at them and they're like, whatever, I just leave them. But
Well, if I was a gecko. Thank you for listening to the audio version of The Garg Life. There will be a part 2 next week of this episode. Stay tuned, and thanks for listening.